Joining us now, the chairman of the House Armed Services Committee, Democratic Congressman Adam Smith of Washington State. Very good to have you on the set with us. You just joined a letter with your colleagues urging the White House to swiftly approve Finland and Sweden's application to join NATO. Do you see NATO, its strength, its growth, as a potential solution to this crisis?
Well, it certainly helps in Eastern Europe. It's a deterrent, and we're worried about Ukraine. We want to build the strength of support to go into Ukraine. As you've documented, the fight is ongoing, and there are a lot of details there. It's good that we're getting that much support. We need to get more, and we need to be very specific about what we get to them in terms of counter-drone, the mortars we need. The stronger that alliance is, the better. But then the second piece of it is beyond Ukraine. As we know, Putin, wants to reconstitute the Soviet Union. We need to deter them everywhere. Finland and Sweden will be a big part of doing that.
And Richard, take the next question, but the other sort of looming crisis is food insecurity and sort of getting some sort of access to a port city in Ukraine along the way.
There's that, and similar with that, you had a senior aide to President Zelensky said that Ukraine will not stop until it basically recaptures all the territory it controlled in 1991, when it first became independent. Do you think Congress would support the use of military force for Ukraine to take back Crimea and all of the Donbass? Do you think Congress is on board for that?
Well, I think very parse what you said there. We would not support using, U.S. troops going up against Russians, which we're not doing now. But if the question is, would we continue to provide them with the military and humanitarian support necessary to enable them to do that, I think the answer is yes. It's Ukraine's decision where we go forward. Now, we will also have conversations with them, because when you mention that, and you're talking about Crimea, and I think there'll be ongoing dialogue with Ukrainians. Right now, we're not even close to pushing them back to prior to February. So that's the step right now. So we get to that larger, more difficult question. There'll be some difficult conversations.
Do you think the United States has the right to condition any of its aid to Ukraine on how that aid would be used?
I did not say we should condition, and I don't think we will condition in that regard. Our mission, and President Biden's been very clear about this, we want to help Ukraine every possible way we can while not going to war with Russia. Really, that's the only condition, is our determination on whether or not it crosses a line that will bring us into that broader conflict. But otherwise, we give Ukraine what they need as quickly as we can.
Congressman, I wanted to get your reaction to something we heard from the president just a few hours ago when he was asked, he's over in Asia, of course, on this trip, and he was asked about Taiwan and said that the U.S. would involve themselves militarily if China were to move on Taiwan. The White House then put out a statement that sort of hedged that slightly, saying they would help Taiwan defend itself. What are your thoughts on that and what the president said?
Well, the number one biggest thing is to put us in ourselves in a position to deter China so that they don't attack in the first place. And what are the conditions that are necessary to do that? I think getting more arms to Taiwan is crucial. I mean, we've learned that lesson in Ukraine. If China is learning from Putin's struggles in Ukraine that it is not as easy as they might think it was, and that's good. That's a powerful deterrent. More weapons in Taiwan is a way to deter them, and the other way is to build an alliance. Less well reported has been Biden's discussion about increasing economic cooperation in the region with a little over a dozen countries. If we can bring a coalition together that will deter China, that's the most important part. We want to stop the shooting war. Now, part of that is how much does China think we will do? I think that's what President Biden was doing. It kind of maintains the strategic ambiguity that has been our policy for a long time.
Chairman of the House Armed Services Committee, Congressman Adam Smith, thank you very much for joining us here on Morning Joe. And still